Yo, what up, guys? This is Retronic Guys Cat. You're on the Real News Talk channel. You know what to do. So, as most of y'all know already, that CM Punk has been officially terminated from AEW, right? Due to an altercation that he was involved with Jack Perry at All In last week Sunday at the Wembley Stadium in London, England. And also getting into a confrontation with Tony Khan as well, allegedly charging for him, after leaving him stranded at the airport, having to find his own way on the London Underground with fans spotting him, taking pictures with him, and escorting him to where he needed to be. All of it is just fucking mad at the end of the day. This is CM Punk's second year in a row getting into beef with his employees. The first beef that he was involved in was at an All Out pay-per-view last year with Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. And not only did he get suspended, he was also out with an injury too. So he had to relinquish the belt that he retained against Jon Moxley. And at the press conference as well, where he was stating that, working in this place is like working with fucking children or some shit like that. That's what he said at that press conference last year at the All Out pay-per-view. So now, Tony Khan, at the beginning of Collision, made a statement that how his security, his life, and whatnot was all in danger due to the actions of CM Punk. Now there's conflicting reports about how Jack Perry got up in CM Punk's face before CM Punk went out for his match against Samoa Joe. And another report saying that how CM Punk got up in Jack Perry's face. So there's conflicting reports about who started what, who got in whose face first, who pushed who first, who shoved who first, who hit who first, blah, blah, blah. But ultimately, them two got into a scuffle and it got broken up and Tony Khan got caught in the middle. And apparently he almost got hit. He almost got caught in the middle. And before that happened, prior to that, he confronted Tony Khan once he got to the hotel in regards to him being left stranded at the airport. No one was there to pick him up. No one from the crew got out to CM Punk to take him to the hotel, which was pretty dangerous, you know what I mean? Because man traveled from the US across the pond into another foreign land. And anything could have happened. You know what I'm saying? Supposedly if the fans didn't spot him and that, he could have easily got lost and, God forbid, something could have happened to CM Punk because you got a lot of fucking crazy maniacs out there. You know what I'm saying? And if that were to happen, AEW and Tony Khan will have blood on their hands for abandoning one of their employees, making them fly out to another country by themselves without any security, without any PA whatsoever. Because that's pretty dangerous. That's pretty risky. So AEW fucked up on that one. At least you could have got somebody to pick up CM Punk to bring him to the hotel. Not just leave man stranded like that, especially with him being a household name in his own right. That's pretty dangerous. AEW shouldn't have done that. You know what I'm saying? So, when all this shit happened backstage, CM Punk threatened to quit AEW, saying that AEW is like working in a fucking zoo. Because he was so pissed off. He was so pissed off before the show started and everything. Because despite him taking pictures with fans and whatnot on the public transport, them guiding him to where he needed to be, deep down inside, he was boiling. He must have been fucking pissed. Who wouldn't be? You're traveling from a foreign land to another foreign land and no one's there to pick you up. Wouldn't you be fucking pissed if that were you? Come on, don't tell me you wouldn't be pissed off if you didn't know where you were going. They're lucky he wasn't in a third world country. Because if it was a third world country, oh my God. Man could easily be kidnapped. You know what I'm saying? Real talk, man. Real fucking talk. So now that CM Punk has been terminated from AEW, and the chances of him going back to WWE are slim to none, in my opinion, because don't forget, CM Punk left WWE on bad terms due to breach of contract. He didn't finish up his contract. So eventually he got terminated on his wedding day in 2014 by Triple H. I think Triple H was the one that terminated him because he didn't like Triple H. He didn't like Vince. So, boy, it's crazy, man. And I'm hearing that recently he met up with Triple H and they both met up and they had a chit chat to try and hash things out. But nobody knows how far that went. So him going to the WWE, people saying that he might show up at Survivor Series in Chicago and that, but we don't know. That don't mean anything. The chances of him returning to the WWE after all the commotions and shit, all the controversies and that are slim to none because, you know, CM Punk has so many enemies in the wrestling business. Because don't forget, AJ Styles, Seth Rollins, those two don't like CM Punk and CM Punk don't like them. So how's he going to coexist when he has enemies all over the place? You know what I mean? It's not going to work out because if he did that shit in WWE like he did in AEW, they would have checked his ass straight away. He would have been fired right on the spot because WWE is a different organization. It's a different entity. They don't take shit. They don't tolerate such bullshit. You know what I mean? Because they've learned from their mistakes from the 90s. I mean, look at Shawn Michaels back in the day. He was a menace to society in the WWF. And there were multiple times where he could have got hurt badly, especially by Undertaker. Because Undertaker was their locker room leader at the time. And there was a time where he was going to beat up Shawn Michaels. And then Shawn Michaels was out with a serious back injury for 4 years. And then he came back to the WWE, you know, turned his life around, gave his life to Christ. And that, so he fixed up. But with CM Punk, it's like a curse with that guy. Getting into fights at a pay-per-view, all out and all in. All out, all in. Do you see the pattern? Tell me that's not a coincidence. It's a curse. It's an omen following CM Punk. It's like a walking bad omen. You know what I mean? Anywhere he goes, he's always getting into problems. Now he fell out with two major companies. What's next for CM Punk? Where else is he going to go? Impact Wrestling? Impact Wrestling is pretty much irrelevant. It's dead. So the only option for him right now is to just retire. You know? Try to settle down. Have kids or something. That's if he even wants kids because AJ Lee's, 36 years old? So she's pretty much, you know, she's at towards the end of her peak on having children, but there's still a little bit of time. But that's for them to decide, you know what I'm saying? Because there's nothing left for CM Punk. You know? From being the most loved superstar to the most hated superstar in so little time. Because 2 years ago, when he came to AEW, when he made his debut, the crowd went nuts, especially in his hometown, Chicago. The crowd went ballistic. Emotions were all over the place. People were crying in the audience and shit, you know? And he was welcomed into the company with open arms. People liked CM Punk. People wanted to work with him and that. But as time went on, you know, after all the beefs and that, all of that changed. All of that just went downhill. Crashed and burned. Bridges burned, everything, man. It's like an inferno, man. Point of no return beyond repair. So CM Punk now has fell out with two major promotions. So there's no other option for him. There's no hope for the guy, you know? But I'll be very surprised if he were to return to the WWE. Unless they're keeping that a secret. I don't see CM Punk returning to the WWE anytime soon. If he does, he does. But if he doesn't, he doesn't. You know, but the chances of him returning are slim to none, like I said before. You know, so we just have to wait and see what happens at Survivor Series at Chicago. There were times where I think he tried to enter the building on a Monday Night Raw episode a couple of months ago, if I'm not mistaken. but he was turned away by security. Vince McMahon turned him away. Allegedly anyway. So we don't know what's really going on there, but boy, oh boy. But what I don't get is that why would they leave the man stranded at the airport with nobody available to pick him up? Knowing full well that the man's going to be irate and pissed off when he arrives at the hotel, when he arrives at the arena, when he confronts you. Because I'm starting to think, was this whole thing a setup just to let CM Punk go? To look for an excuse to terminate CM Punk from AEW? Did Tony Khan and other employees, right, set this up the whole time? I don't know. I'm just, making a little bit of assumptions at the moment because it just don't add up. It don't make no sense. What happened before that? What happened when they were back in the States prior to flying into London? What happened? It's crazy, man. It's fucking crazy. And John Moxley cut a promo on CM Punk saying that, how he has a fragile ego, he's weak spiritually and shit, that he has zero sympathy and empathy for CM Punk, and he doesn't really give a fuck about CM Punk. You know what I mean? So it just goes to show that the guy has made a lot of enemies in that company. And he's got enemies in WWE as well. So at this point, I think CM Punk should just call it a day and just retire, enjoy the rest of his life and the rest of his money, you know what I'm saying? Or create a new career path. Maybe go into acting or something. He has so many other options because he's done it all. He's made a name for himself in the world of pro wrestling and he has nothing left to prove. That's just my opinion anyway. But what's your take on the situation? The whole thing is just madness. Fucking madness. The wrestling industry has been booming over the last couple of weeks, Obviously with the untimely death of the late Wyndham Rotunda, aka Bray Wyatt, and Terry Funk, and now CM Punk being fired from AEW by Tony Khan. And you could tell that Tony Khan looked pretty nervous announcing the whole situation, But maybe it was about time for him to step up and make an example because he's been letting shit slide for far too long and people will just walk all over him. And I think he just reached a boiling point saying that, fuck this, man. I'm not going to let people walk over me anymore. So I'm just going to make an example. I don't want to do it, but I have to do it for the safety of myself and others as well in the company. So this shit don't happen again. But what I'm thinking, could MJF be next? Because he's another one that has had problems with Tony Khan in the past because he's now the current AEW World Champion. But what if, because MJF is looking to exit AEW just before the year ends, could he be in a match with Adam Cole? A rematch for the World Heavyweight title by the end of the year. And get the exact same treatment that Bret Hart did in 1997, being screwed out of the AEW World title. Could he be next on the hit list? Because Tony Khan seems to be stepping up now. He seems to be turning to the dark side. Just like Vince McMahon. Because Vince McMahon was kind of like that in his early days. Didn't stand up for himself as much until one day he just turned into a complete villain. Could Tony Khan go in the same direction? Could he screw MJF? Could MJF request to relinquish the belt after he has a match with whoever? Most especially with the possibility of Adam Cole. And then all of a sudden, Adam Cole puts him in a submission move, maybe an armbar or something like that. And then all of a sudden, one of the referees in AEW rings the bell without MJF tapping up. And then something serious goes down. That could potentially happen. So you need to keep that in mind as well. let's not turn a blind eye to the possibilities and the potentials of what could happen, you know, by the end of the year, because the bidding war for 2024 is approaching and MJF doesn't really have long left. And there's no word yet whether MJF has re-signed with AEW or not, but I doubt it anyway. So, hey, that's just food for thought. But yeah, it's Retronic Ice Cat on the Real News Talk channel. No more CM Punk. Is this the end of the road for CM Punk? You tell me. Say no more. Peace.